Would you characterize this as a drastic move tonight? I mean, Kentucky Truck seems to be one of Ford's most lucrative producing plants. Those vehicles are not inexpensive that come out of there. Is this, from a tactical point, your way of striking a really serious blow here?
Yeah, I don't call it a drastic move. I call it, and we expect them to come to the table and get these things done early. They chose not to bargain for almost 7 weeks. So I don't really call this, a drastic thing. I just call it that we've been patient. We have tried to do the right thing. We've tried to escalate things on a calculated manner. But at this point, when 2 weeks later we're getting the same offer we got 2 weeks ago, it's unacceptable. So we had to do what we have to do.
How are the sales of those Eat the Rich t-shirts going?
I wish I was selling them because I know we'd be making a lot of money right now. But
I'm sure Ford was comforted in the early innings of the union negotiations when it was spared further strikes after the first week. But as of last night, Ford might have moved into the worst position amongst the Detroit Three. It was the afternoon of October 11th when the Ford's negotiation team met with the UAW Shawn Fain to hash out a better contract for the auto workers. But when Fain prompted them to produce an economic package worthy of their membership, Ford representatives said they had not updated the economics of their previous offer. The UAW team was not happy to hear that, and President of the union Fain can be quoted saying, "If this is all you have for us, our members' lives and my handshake are worth more than this. This just cost you Kentucky Truck Plant." We all have come to understand Shawn Fain is a no-nonsense individual. His strike strategy has been effective, looking at the gains the UAW has made in negotiations so far, but they want more. The choice of the Kentucky Truck Plant is no less tactical and likely one of the most important cards Fain can play from his deck. This particular Ford factory is responsible for the vast majority of the company's profits within North America, with Congressman McGarvey mentioning it was 54% of said profit, or in dollar figures, CNN reported it produces $25 billion annually. The reason it's so profitable is because of the types of vehicles it makes. KTP is where the F-Series Super Duty pickup trucks, the Ford Expedition SUVs, and the upscale Lincoln Navigator SUVs are made. I think you get it now. Pickup trucks and SUVs, the most desired segment in the US car market. The strike on this location added 8,700 more auto workers walking off the job and shutting down the assembly line, bringing the total amount of striking union members to 25%. Putting strain on not just Ford, but all of its suppliers, who are much weaker financially than the car makers. It wouldn't be surprising to see some of these smaller operations go bankrupt in an extended strike. Even if the strike was to resolve soon, spinning back up the whole supply chain can be a costly endeavor. Evidence of that was during the pandemic, when just starting up the supplier businesses after the shutdown would consume so much cash that they begged the government for $20 to $25 billion to ensure the supplier sector's survival.
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? How long will the Tier 2 supply base survive?
Jan Griffiths, the founder of Gravitas Detroit, worked in supply chain management for more than 3 decades.
The Tier 2 supply base has not fully recovered from COVID, from the chip crisis. All the information that's coming into me, our estimates are somewhere between 3 to 6 weeks. Will there be bankruptcies? Yes, probably. How many and when? We don't know yet.
The UAW said Ford hasn't bargained in good faith since the start of the strike. So you might ask, why hasn't Ford presented a better contract for its workers? It could be because they raised wages a week before the strike, but if they made billions of dollars in profit last year, it would make sense they should be able to afford a further increase in pay for their unionized workers. Well, Ford says otherwise. In a conference call today, Kumar Kolatra, who is the head of Ford's ICE business, said, "We have been very clear that we are at the limit. We stretched to get to this point. Going further will hurt our ability to invest in the business."
we came here today to get another offer from Ford. Unfortunately, this offer was the exact same offer they gave us 2 weeks ago. In our position, they're not taking this serious. We've been very patient working with the company on this. At the end of the day, they have not met expectations. They're not even coming to the table on it. So at this point, we had to take action.
The mantra, record profits, record contracts. You know it well. Yet, with record profits, Jim Farley says they'd go bankrupt if they paid workers more, and Kumar is saying they're stretched to the limit. But record profits doesn't mean record net income. With the vast amount of investment Ford is making to catch up to Tesla in the electric vehicle market and still improve their ICE segment, a gross profit of around $6 billion average per quarter nets them an income of around $1 billion per quarter. What the UAW is asking Ford is for them to stop investing in their business and devote more of those profits to wages and benefits. Ford's 2022 capital expenditures was almost $7 billion, and in 2023, the rate of capex is increasing. Does Ford reduce its spend and give it to their workers, Or where does this money come from? Should the UAW agree to the contract that Ford has proposed, hourly workers could see total compensation of approximately $100,000, and thus a yearly expense for hourly wages could be just shy of $6 billion for Ford. Throw on top of that figure the 28,000 salaried workers they have, and you can see the bind Ford finds themselves in. To put these numbers in perspective, Ford brings in almost double Tesla's quarterly revenue, but their net income is 1/3 to 1/2 of Tesla's. Unfortunately, the Kentucky truck plant strike isn't the only news Ford had to share today. They also slashed the F-150 Lightning EV pricing by $7,500 a truck. But as Tesla superfans, we know that Ford doesn't make any money on electric vehicles. Every sale is a loss, and as of Q2 of 2023, that loss was $60,000 per vehicle. Compounding this profitability problem is the lackluster sales of the Ford F-150 Lightning year over year, which was down 46% for Q3. Ford can hope their other EV models pick up the slack with the Mustang Mach-E gaining this past quarter, but the large discount on the F-150 is very telling and counters the narrative that the factory shutdowns for the EV pickup truck affected deliveries. Oh, and we can't forget the news from early October, when Ford canceled all the F-150 Lightning dealer orders in what they said was a quality issue, and it was just allowing dealers to order the 2024 model year when it comes out. That's kind of concerning for anyone wanting to order the 2023 model, as it's still available from dealers, but maybe Ford ironed out all the kinks. Is it coincidental that these discounts come near the release of the Cybertruck? Despite Wall Street's analysts' lack of enthusiasm for Tesla's pickup truck, and industry insiders being negative about Tesla's outlook in light of price cuts across their model line, the consumer is speaking with their wallets by not buying the F-150 Lightning. Elon tweeted what would become a popular quote about the automotive industry. In March of 2021, he said, "Tesla and Ford are the only American car makers not to have gone bankrupt out of thousands of car startups. Prototypes are easy, production is hard, and being cash flow positive is excruciating." Ford was proud to have been the only Detroit automaker not to have filed bankruptcy during the Great Financial Crisis. But Tesla holding the crown of being the only car manufacturer not to go under is looking like a real possibility lately.